Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stefania from Gaming with Stefania, and in this video we are going to talk about water. This is a tutorial that I've really looked forward to in this series of tutorials on terrain and landscaping, because water is a very important element for making realistic habitats. So let's see all the fundamentals of water in Planet Sim. To create water, first we need to create a deep area or a sunken area, right? We can do that by using the push tool, like this. If we create a lower area, lower ground in our terrain, then we will be able to go here to the water tool, and we will see 4 options. The first option is to add calm water. The second option is to add rough water. We can also select water after we placed it, and we can remove water. So those are our 4 options here, and we also have some settings such as the water cleanliness. And we can choose how clean the water will be, because that is also essential to create realistic habitats. I will show you all the different variations right now. So let's add some calm water over here. You can see what this looks like. It looks like exactly that, calm water, like you're in a lake. And you can see the small little waves here at the top. And if you go deeper with your camera, you zoom in into the water, you will be able to see the terrain below water. So that is also cool. If you have some aquatic animals from the aquatic pack, you can see them swimming. That is super nice. That is for calm water. Now, if we want to instead place rough water, first we need to remove the water with this tool. We just select remove water and we remove it, and now we see the terrain again. Now, if we want to create some rough water here, we can do that, but now you will see that it's like the water is moving a bit more, right? It's not so calm, it's not like a lake anymore, it's more like a river that has some flow, or as if there was wind in the water. You may notice that to add water over here, if we remove it, we see a blue line over here. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's a different color, but we will see the word valid when we can place the water. That is the level where we want to create the water. Let me show you this over here closer. This is a valid height for the water based on our terrain, but this is also another valid height. We need to decide where the edge of the water will be. If I click here, I will see that the water reaches this level. But now if I remove it and instead I click over here, the water goes even higher. And it will have like a more subtle transition here on the terrain, which is also helpful to create more realistic looking habitats. The animals will be able to walk on shallow waters first before diving into the deep water, because we have a smooth transition over here. So those are like the basics of water. We can also select the water, and we can change its cleanliness. Let me show you what I mean with cleanliness over here, what this setting does. If we have the cleanliness at 100% and we create water over here, we will see that it's super clean. It's blue, it's transparent, it's like perfect water in a habitat. But let's bring this down to 0% to see the effect in its most radical change. We will see that now the water is dark, it's not as clean as before, it's like muddy and full of soil. So that is the most extreme value for no water cleanliness. If we have this at 50%, we will have something in between, like you can see right here. It's not so dark, but it's not so clean. Awesome, so let's go back to 100% cleanliness, and now let's use the select water tool. If we want to change some settings or some characteristics of the water, we can also select it with this tool, and we will see this panel. Water has many different properties. First, we can change the name of our water. Let's say that I want to assign a specific name to my lake, like Lake Gino. I can just change the name, I can press enter, and that's it. Now the water has a specific name that I can refer to. I can check the welfare of the water, the cleanliness, 100%, because in Planet Zoo we also have some facilities that will be in charge of cleaning the water. It's under facilities, utilities, and over here we have the water treatment plant, which is a plant that is in charge of exactly that. Let me show you this. This is a water treatment plant that right now it doesn't have any power. It should have power to work, but just let me show you what it does. It's a plant that will treat the water in its surroundings, in its coverage area. Over here, the blue circle that you can see, it will treat the water and keep it clean for your animals. So that is another thing that you have to keep in mind in Planet Zoo. I will cover water treatment plants in more detail in an upcoming tutorial, so make sure to subscribe if you would like to see that tutorial in the near future. Awesome, so now you know that you have a water treatment plant, that you can select the water, and if you just click on the water, that would be equivalent to using the select tool, okay? Now you can just click on it, and that will be the equivalent of going here and using select water. Great! After we talked about the cleanliness of the water, now we can also check its temperature, 26 degrees. Okay, you may need to change the temperature of the water as well for your animals based on the current conditions, the weather. For the space, you also have some numbers over here. We have the water area. Here we have 3,000 approximately square meters, and we have an average water depth of 7 meters. That is important because your animals will have specific water requirements. Like, let me show you over here in the Zoopedia. If we open this, let me go to the African penguin. We know that the African penguin needs water, needs to swim. If we go here to the natural habitat and we go over here, we see the water requirement. We can see that one adult requires at least 135 square meters of water. And we also see that it needs at least 67 square meters of deep water. So you have to meet all of those requirements for your animals in their habitats. And how can you do that? Well, by checking the characteristics of the water area that you created and the average depth. Awesome, so after you have that and you know that it matches exactly what your animal needs, then you can also check here in the tab for connected objects. You can connect it to a specific habitat, to a water treatment plant, or to a water temperature regulator. That is another type of facility that we have. Let me go to facilities here, and you can see that we also have a water temperature regulator like this. Let me show you this. I'm going to place them both side by side. We have the water treatment plant here, and we also have the water temperature regulator. Let me show you how they work by buying a power generator, a transformer over here. Okay, so I bought this and now they should have electricity, and yes, they are operational. Awesome. So we have these two facilities and now they should be connected to this water because the water is in their range of coverage. You can see that they both have like this gray or blue circle around it that tells you how much area they can cover. So if we go to the water now and we check for connected objects, you can see that it has a water treatment plant associated to it or connected to it, and it also has a water temperature regulator associated or connected to it. It should also be connected to a habitat if it's part of a habitat, but it may also be like a decorative lake in your zoo, so it may not be connected to any habitats at all. And you can also customize the water, and that is something that I really love about this. You can choose to use the natural color of the water, or you can turn this off and just customize it. You have some presets. Let's see what each one of them does. So we have clean water, we have dirty water, we have the Everglade, we have the Amazon, we have tropical. You can see that it's more transparent. We have crystal, we have midnight, we have toxic. You can see that this doesn't really look nice. We have cosmic cow, which is, well, I think not so realistic. I've never seen pink water myself, but it looks interesting. We have gulpy, pip shot, and street fox. But you can see that this is just customizing the colors that we have over here for the custom settings. You can choose the color of the mist and the color of the water. So you can actually choose from any color in the RGB range, basically any color that you want. If you want to have pink water, you can choose pink water, green water, yellow water, orange water, basically anything you want. So that is super nice, even white water. anything you want. I usually like to choose a preset because I think it looks more realistic, but you can always play around with these settings. And you can also, after you have that, you can also customize the transparency of the water, the bubbles, and the mist. Let's see what this does. If I increase the transparency of the water, you can see that now I can see the bottom of the terrain. The water is completely transparent, but I can still see some shadows, so it's still realistic, but now I can see the terrain below it. If I move this to 0, well, it's completely non-transparent, so I cannot see anything below the water. For the bubbles, well, usually by default you will see 0 here, but you can also enable this to have some bubbles. Let's check this. Let's see the bubbles. Let me just unpause this. I think, yep. If we unpause the game, then we will see these bubbles when we change the setting. It looks so nice, right? You can make the bubbles less frequent or less common in the water, and the highest setting will give you a lot of bubbles. So that is really nice. You can also turn them off by setting this to 0. And if you click here, you can just, instead of using the slider, you can just write a value over here. Awesome, so let's pause this again, and now let's check out the mist effect. Mist is also super nice if you are creating like a thermal water. If we unpause the game and then we set the mist to 1, look at this. It really looks like thermal waters. That is super nice as well for that type of habitat. This is the highest setting, 1, but you can also choose an intermediate setting, and that would be totally okay too. Try to find what looks more realistic to you. And if you want to turn it off, you just take it back to 0 again. And you will see that the mist starts to go away and it doesn't come back. Okay, so let's pause the game again after the mist is already gone. You can go to a specific lake by clicking here. If you are, for example, over here and you have the lake selected but you don't know where it is, you can just click here to find it and you will go directly to that lake. And you can also click here to demolish the lake, and that will be like removing the water. Of course, you can undo that with Control C. Or with these arrows over here, undo and redo. And finally, one last tip that I want to share with you is that you can also change how the water will be painted. You can choose between auto paint, use selected, and sampled. If you want to keep the type of terrain, the paint that you already have, just choose sampled. If you want to use a particular one that you selected, choose this setting, and auto paint will choose the type of terrain of the biome that you're working with. Here I am working on a tropical biome. Okay, awesome. We've covered all the basics that you need to know to start creating water and working with water in your habitats in Planet Zoo. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.